Yeah, just a bit, yeah. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't think Skype is going to work at the same time with Instagram tonight, but
Yeah,
we're getting this working. Oh,
drop
hello, we got a little one with us.
it. Unfortunately, we can't then balance it, but yeah, we'll work. We're just trying to sort out many forms of. Okay, that's good. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I think Skype has gone down.
Yeah.
Unless you want to try calling.
Baby.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
A baby. Sorry, Alice just joined because she thought I said
heard
about.
say the little one. I was like, a baby.
You want to
No.
see baby? Say.
Oh.
Come see Daddy.
It is live.
Sorry, this is what it's like
this...
with days at home.
Come see Daddy's desk.
There was a small one, but we've got a baby one now.
There she is.
Oh, hello.
Oh, look at
The
your
whole family's
hair.
here.
Hello. Oh,
There's a smile.
hair.
There's a bit of a smile anyway.
Good baby.
Hi.
Jake, you coming here?
Whoa.
Yeah.
All four of you.
Yeah.
Ma.
Ma.
Good girl. Right, shall we let Daddy come
Ah.
see? Yeah.
Ah, that's cute.
Mwah.
Lovely. Right, see you later.
All right, good night.
All right.
Do you want the big light?
Right, apologies that this has not worked out quite as much as planned, but never mind.
We're on now. That's all that matters.
Good.
So just for those, thank you everybody who was in the YouTube who's jumped over to here. It looks like most of you have. So yeah, big thanks to you that have done that. Again, apologies from us to it seems that everybody and their nan is on Skype tonight, which so doesn't want to connect for some reason. But yeah, I'm really excited to have Rob on here tonight. But so welcome to what we're calling the Quarantine Zone. This is a live chat that I'm doing every single day at 6 p.m. GMT. And the idea of it is if you are home and you are self-isolating, which everybody is, then at least if you're going through some anxiety, some loneliness, or you just want to have an hour of escapism to have a chat with some people, it's just to get out of the normal sort of boredom of what's happening with our time at the moment. So I am honoured to have Rob here today. A lot of you guys that watch my stuff regularly already know who Rob is, either through watching my stuff or being a quadriplegic. It seems that everybody knows who Rob is if they're a quad anyway.
we do publish quite a lot on social media, so hopefully if you don't know me already, you will do soon. So I do Active Hands.
Yeah, so if you don't know who Rob is, you know what his product is anyway. He's the owner, inventor, founder, everything to do with Active Hands, basically.
Yep.
And if you don't know what Active Hands is, I've got a lot here, and we'll go through it briefly today, but we were saying we don't want to make this an advertisement as such. We want to make this more of a chat. So, yeah, we will be talking about it because it's part of your life, but we just talk about it in terms of how it affects your life rather than the actual...
Perfect, yeah, sounds good.
Awesome. Okay, so I think, let's get started for the people that don't know who you are with the stuff. Who are you, Rob?
Who am I? So my name's Rob Smith, and as you can see, I've got a family here. I live in Leamington Spa in England, and I'm the inventor of Active Hands, and I run the company. I've got a mechanical engineering degree, I've been doing Active Hands now for a number of years. I also do like wheelchair racing. I've just done a training session which I've just rushed back from, hence still in my training top. That's about it, really. Yeah,
so with Active Hands and that, how did that all come together? And how did you come up with the product?
Well, I've had my injury over 20 years now. So I had my spinal cord injury, so I'm a C5, C6 incomplete spinal injury. And that happened when I was at university. I was studying mechanical engineering at Warwick Uni. And I had that between my second and third years where I was on holiday, a cliff fall, and then I was in hospital in Salisbury. After that, I found it really frustrating that I couldn't find any way to get back into the gym. I wanted to kind of still train and be fit and healthy, but I was really frustrated in the gym that anything to do with pulling or like gripping onto things to do my weights workouts or to use gym equipment. I just couldn't do because of my hand function. So I don't have very good hand function at all. So I've got a little bit on the extensors, but flexors wise, there's very minimal movement there on both hands. So gripping anything, at all was very difficult for me to do. So just started working on inventing some products, and Active Hands kind of developed from there, really.
Yeah, and I remember, because if you want to get know a bit more detail about Rob's story and that, we did a really good podcast together. I think it was like a good hour and 40 minutes. We might go that long today, who knows? But yeah, it was a really great chat, and you went into some details about like the early prototypes and that, which was which is amazing to see where it came from or where it is now. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah,
so
we put that out a little while ago, didn't we? And we separated those out into a number of short videos as well. I think we've promoted those on Active Hands, and I think they're on Active Hands on our YouTube channel as well. I expect yours as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. That came down to see you in your place, didn't I? And then gym workout as well, and filmed. And
we met with Kate as well.
Yeah, it was really good.
So if you guys who don't know Kate, she's a girl boxer with CP.
Yep.
So yeah, it was really good to all three of us to hang out and do some exercises together. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
Awesome experience. So as I said, we'll briefly go through some of the equipment here. But before I do, if you guys want to see more of Active Hands, I'm going to link it all down below on the YouTube video if you're watching this later. And we'll talk about it at the end as well. But where can people find Active Hands, in case they're wondering now?
Just simple, activehands.com. It's our website. There's loads of product information on there. There's videos about most of the products, how they work, and which ones are suitable for which tasks and which disability types, etc. And we've also got quite a big following on Facebook, obviously YouTube and Instagram stuff as well. But Facebook is we're very prolific on there.
Awesome.
Just Active Hands. Just search for Active Hands Company. You'll find us.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to find, and you'll see the image. You've got like a nice animated image. Yeah, it's a good picture. So we're just going to go briefly through the products. I've got the ones that I've got here anyway. So we're just going to briefly go through them and just sort of explain what they are and how they work, sort of thing. So first of all, I've got the main thing, what people call Active Hands.
Yeah.
Is this?
So
yeah, do you want to?
The general purpose gripping aid. So it basically helps your hand to grab onto like a large object, like a dumbbell or a handle of a machine or something like that. So fasten it around your wrist. It's a bit hard with this screen because it doesn't show much, does it? So,
yeah, but you've got lots of pictures on and videos on your social media. So and obviously, and people have watched my stuff before. They've seen me use it in nearly every single video. I've got those in.
And as you pull it tight, it'll pull your hand into a grip shape, and you've got a firm grip on whatever you're grasping. Yeah,
it's really cool because I couldn't do adaptive form without them, and basically, I owe my sort of start of my business to you to inventing these. So it's really cool, and especially at the moment with doing the home workouts as well. I don't have access to all this gym equipment that I could.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like some machines I don't need to use the Active Hands on, like if I'm doing a chest press.
Yeah.
While I'm at home now, like using some of the products is actually really beneficial. It means I can do a lot more.
Yeah, it's more for like lifting and pulling exercises, but we do a range of products. So we're not trying to do a big sell here, but there's loads of things for different exercises and different situations around the gym and around the home for holding different objects. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's also really useful. Like if you're now at home and you're looking to do some things, if it's cooking, if it's baking, if it's art, you've got a product basically for all of it really to help people adapt.
We've recently done a small item gripping aid, so that's for holding like makeup items, pens, paintbrushes, cutlery, anything like that for small items. So that's also available on our website. If that's of interest to you, then go and have a look on activehands.com.
Yeah, especially if you want to start a new hobby and you're thinking, I don't think I could do this. There's something there, so definitely. Okay, so I want to change gears a bit now and talk about something that happened to you recently that was really awesome.
Yep.
And that is going up to see. Well, you're on the New Year's honours list to get
Yes.
your MBE. So do you want to talk about that?
Well, yeah, it was a bit of a big surprise. So I got an official looking letter through the post back in, I think, about November time. And I thought, oh no, have I got a speeding ticket or, court summons for jury duty or something? But I opened it up and I was pleasantly surprised to see it was a notification of an MBE, so in the Queen's New Year's Honours list. So I've been doing Active Hands for a long time, and we, provide a good product to a community that needs that product to help them stay active and mentally and physically. Mm. So I think our trade advisor for the business put us forward, and he did a lot of the stuff in the background, and unknown to me, my sister was involved and a few other people. And yeah, so I got my MBE. I went to pick it up 2 weeks ago for services to international trade and people with disabilities. So that was a lovely thing to get. Presented by Prince Charles, who I now find out has got the coronavirus. So,
I did. As soon as I heard that, I thought of you straight away. I was just like, "Oh God, no!"
Yeah. So he didn't shake any hands. He did the old namastes, and but he did sort of step down off the platform and come quite close to sort of have a little chat with me. So I was definitely within like a foot of his face, within a foot of my face. So I think it was 2 weeks ago. So I'm pretty secure that I'm probably still okay. I've not noticed.
Maybe you picked up from someone then.
Yes, quite possibly. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been on lots of videos, hasn't he? Sort of shaking hands with various people and people telling him not to do that.
Yeah. Alice's dad was saying how he's a mass spreader.
Yes, he could probably.
He's part of the problem.
Probably is. Yeah.
So yeah, I honestly can't think of anybody better, especially in the field that you're doing. You're quite a humble person generally. So like, and I know you wouldn't admit yourself, but you do such awesome work for the disabled community. And I don't think people don't see your face as much as they see your product. But every single quadriplegic I know knows who Active Hands are.
Yeah.
And it's changed so many people's lives for the better. And yeah, it's such an amazing thing. And it's a real privilege to call you my friend as well. Yeah. And yeah, it's well deserved. I couldn't think of anybody better to have it.
Well, I'm a bit nervous about it. I was a little bit embarrassed to sort of start saying it, to be honest, because I know there's so many more people who have done so much more in various different fields who have never been, awarded anything like that. But it's a lovely feeling to get it, and I'm just going to sort of accept that's whoever decides these things decided that I was eligible, and that I'm the right person to get it. So I'm very happy with that, and it's a lovely honour to get, something that I'll remember for always.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I think that if they wanted to offer you more, I still think you'd be accepting of it still. So yeah, what I wanted to talk about quite a lot of the chunk of this is because we're both quadriplegics at a similar sort of level. And at the moment, there's a lot going on in the world, or not much going on in the world. Yes, in some cases now. And seeing as we're talking about Active Hands a bit now, I wanted to see how it's affecting your business before we get into sort of your personal and home life. So what sort of things have you had to adapt and think about in terms of keeping your business running and keeping it successful during this time?
Well, we're quite fortunate in some ways that we are basically an online business anyway. So we do have a dispatch office, and normally we would go and meet in the office, and there'd be up to sort of 5 or 6 of us in the office at a time, although normally sort of 2 to 3. So what we've done with
sorry, Rob, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. All right, we lost you for a second there, but
okay.
That's
so
right.
We're just keeping one person in the dispatch office, and we just make sure that one person's only in there at a time and they can travel independently in their own car to get there. And the rest of us are all working remotely and talking to each other. We're having meetings over Zoom and Skype and various things, and sort of running the businesses remotely, working from home. So I think we're okay to carry on as long as the postal services run, and as long as we're not on full lockdown and one person can get to the office. So we're doing okay at the moment. We've noticed that the sales are down a little bit, maybe about 50%, but I think that's probably because people are adjusting to the new situation. Everyone's a bit worried about what's going on. Maybe when people start realizing that, things being at home is the new norm, they might need to start purchasing products again to work out from home. But I think everyone's a bit spooked at the moment, aren't they, with what's going on?
Yeah, it's a bit of uncertainty in that. And when that
definitely.
time, people tend to lock down on everything.
Yeah.
So,
So people don't want
and then buy toilet rolls for some reason.
Yeah, well, people's got restricted money, particularly if you're working and your work has dried up. I can understand why people want to keep their money and not spend, if they don't need to.
Yeah, I've been personally doing it because I think, well, I might as well save my money and just make sure that I've got the right money for the essentials to make sure I've got food and heating and stuff. So
so we completely understand that, but we're okay for the moment. We can carry on as a business for a fair while with slightly reduced income, but hopefully it won't be a long-term problem.
are you putting anything into place for long term just in case, or is that something you'd think about over the next couple of weeks?
We're going to sort of keep going and see what happens for the next month or so, and then see what the government possibilities of getting funding from them and stuff. But we're not a business who's racked up the debt over the years. We've been very conservative with our kind of spending, and we've got some money in reserve and savings. So we were hoping to possibly be able to move premises and maybe buy a premises and get a mortgage on, something like that. But maybe we'll have to dip into that just to be able to continue to pay our staff, because they've all got families to feed as well. So we'll have to see what the situation is. But yeah, we'll carry on as best as we can.
Yeah, it's great. It's great that you have sort of got that online aspect of it, because I think a lot of people in these times who haven't adapted to it already, if you haven't got your business online, you should do, really. But there is a lot of people that feel like it's not necessary, but I think something like this has sort of realised that they need that.
Yeah, I think the world,
online and offline, sort of bit of both.
Yeah, definitely. I think the world has changed due to this, and it'll never be quite the same again. In some ways, that will be probably good. In some ways, probably negative. But I think it's going to be a big factor in the change of how the world works. And like I say, we're lucky we can do a lot online. We've had things like disability shows cancelled, and there's others which are unsure whether they'll happen in the moment where we would normally go and exhibit. And things like meetings and new projects we're trying to do, we're sort of put on hold a little bit for the moment.
I definitely agree that it's probably going to change the world. Like, there's a lot of people that, I don't know, if probably most people watching probably experienced 9/11. And that was like the last time a big change happened for the world. Obviously, we had like the crash in 2007, but that wasn't quite the same impact as what like 9/11 had. And this seems like it's going to have the same sort of thing, where our concept of what we can and can't do, and that is going to be completely changed.
Yeah, I think so. And just the way that we've had to work from home, new ways of doing business will probably come out of this, and the likelihood of so many businesses, even with government support, going under or changing the way they focus or having real issues, and the financial implications, even after the whole physical health implications have gone, are going to stretch for years to come, I think.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a strain on everyone.
I was saying to Jacob the other day that this bit that we're living through in our lives now, with homeschooling, which is always difficult at home and stuff, this will be something that they talk about in history classes, in years to come and decades to come. It's such a massive going on right now.
It's unprecedented, really. Like, even sort of during like wartime and that, it wasn't, people still hung out together, in air raid shelters, and
and it's been the first time that the whole world has been affected by something like this all at the same time. And, even in the wars, even though most of the world was affected, if you were living in the countryside or in a country that wasn't that affected, or different areas, you could get away from it mostly. But here, like, I heard a statistic today that 25% of the world at the moment is currently on some sort of restricted movement lockdown situation.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's only going to, get more.
So you said about sort of, some things are going to come from it, they're good, and some things are bad. I like to focus on some positive things, mostly in my life.
Yeah.
What have you seen personally that you think has actually come of it as quite good so far?
I think just the amount of people are reaching out and interacting online. As a parent of a couple of young kids, we don't really get to go out much these days. So, we've been slightly restricted in what we do. But in some ways, we've had more of a social life because we've been doing things online. We did a pub quiz the other day, online pub quiz, with a few friends, and we all chatted about that and in a team together. My wife went to a poetry reading, which was on the other night, and she might do that again tonight. And you can do like online games and stuff. So I think there are a lot of people looking out for each other and kind of reaching out and doing these the things like we're doing now, which didn't happen quite so much before.
Yeah, like I never done a live video before this, and I thought it was
No.
a good opportunity to do it because normally when I'm doing the videos, like I make it, edit it, and then post it online, but there's not that sort of interactive feeling, and that's sort of what I wanted to get from this, because when you feel like you're part of something, you feel, well, you're part of it, really.
Yeah.
And you can interact, you can ask questions, you can see how it's going, and we're here in real time, and there's no polish to it. It's just, it is what it is, and that's how it would be in real life. And it's quite nice to make it simulated in terms of what it would be like if you were just hanging out with your friends. So yeah. That's kind of why.
Yeah, it's really good. We're kind of finding new ways to be like, maybe not physically in the same place, but like, together in the same place socially. Online social stuff has shot up. And just
I think it's
like everyone is broadcasting all the time now. We did Joe Wick's workout with the kids the other day, and there was like nearly 1 million people all at the same time, 9 o'clock in the morning, doing a Joe Wick's workout. So that's what you got to for your next Adapt to Perform.
Yeah, I wish I got 1 million people each time joining. Well, no, to be honest, I'm really happy that I've got a good couple of people that are joining every single day, and helping those out is amazing by itself. And it also helps me keep motivated, because it means I have to come on, because otherwise I'll let those guys down.
Yeah.
It does help my accountability.
It's not to be included in the group of people you had on. I've seen some big names of people that I like to follow myself as well. So.
Yeah, it's been good to reach out and talk to these people, and it's amazing the response I've had from the people I've reached out to, and every single person said yes to it.
Yeah.
To coming on, which was amazing. And it's really cool. And I'm so pleased that we've got to a stage where people are worried about mental health, and they're like, we need to do these for people's mental health, and that is such a big aspect of it. 10 years ago, people wouldn't have cared about that side of it, I feel like. And it feels, I see personally, like the news, it likes to say, like, there's lots of negative stuff, like, oh, look, all these people shopping and taking home 50 million loo rolls and all the pasta in the world.
Yeah.
But I feel like in the real world that I'm seeing through like social media and, talking to friends and that, it seems a lot more positive in terms of what the public are doing. So I'm really pleased with that side of it.
In the UK anyway, there's been loads of people sign up for volunteering, haven't there, to support NHS deliveries and kind of people in need of assistance. So I think 400,000 people signed up yesterday or something. So
it's amazing when in times like this that people can come together, and it's great. And also we know how to have a good laugh about it too.
Even in our local area, we've just, we know our neighbours roughly, but we've set up a little local WhatsApp group just for sort of the end of our road. And we've been sort of going and buying food for each other and having a bit more interaction than we would normally. So there are lots of positives about that kind of thing. I think small communities are getting to know each other a bit better than they would, and people are sort of walking around outside and shouting to each other from the bottom of the drive, but actually interacting more than normal.
It's different. It's unique and it's special, and I hope it continues to some degree. Obviously, it's not going to carry on like it is now, because people are going to start seeing each other in person.
Yeah.
But hopefully, it sort of does bring towards that community spirit and go, oh, that felt good to be part of this community and to give back and to help each other out and being it together. And hopefully some of that will continue afterwards.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be really good.
Yeah, really awesome. And are you going to be going out at 8 o'clock tonight to give a clap to the NHS?
I will try. Yeah. Our kids are in bed just before that normally, so we wondered about getting them to stay up and do it because I know there's going to be a few people in the village and from Jacob's school who will do it. But yeah, I'll see if I can go out. It's quite quiet down the end of our road, so I don't know if many people to hear. But yeah.
Yeah, well, you know where I live. Hopefully, there's going to be lots of people out on the balconies.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, you haven't heard that already.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're back. Sorry.
It's all right. I've been talking to them anyway. I've been explaining the NHS thing. So.
Okay. Yeah.
And somebody in there said my clapping wouldn't wake anybody up. I assume they're a quad.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, ours isn't going to be great either.
Not really. No.
Yeah, we're doing all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, it's amazing. And while we're at sort of a pause moment there, if you do have any questions for us, make sure you put them there in the chat. I see some people coming through with some like comments on what we're talking about, just sort of interacting. So yeah, it's great to have you here, guys. And James Skinner has said that he's definitely think is going to have an impact on how people interact going forwards in the future. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people are going to realize that majority of people that aren't using sort of social media and that realize that there are a lot of positives about social media, and hopefully it's kind of almost needed that we needed this sort of big boost of, oh, social media can be used for good, not just a negative situation. So, and like hopefully we'll learn to use it in new ways.
I'm hoping quite a bit of the older generation will start doing more, sort of Skypes and, that kind of thing as well, like WhatsApps and all the rest of it, realizing how useful it is really.
Yeah, because although I didn't grow up with it as a kid, as I was getting older, it all developed over the time. And yeah, I luckily enough that I sort of grew up with it. But yeah, for some people that haven't grown up with it, it's all quite new. They start to now realize, the benefits of it, and not just that thing that the kids do.
Yeah.
So moving on, obviously we had your family on at the beginning for a little bit. Generally, how is it at the moment affecting your family life? Because obviously you've got a young boy who's normally at school.
Yes, so he's 7, so he would be in year 2 normally. And we've only, obviously, the schools have been off now 4 long days. So it's tough, to be honest. It's hard work. So normally he would be at school, getting to burn loads of energy off, see his friends all the time, run around the playgrounds. And Xanthi, who was the little one, she's just 1 and a bit. And she would be off at, toddler groups and various things to expend some energy as well. Luckily, this week has been fairly warm and sunny. So we've been outside in the garden and on the driveway as much as we can. But that's it, really. We're not doing anything else, and there's no interaction with other people of a similar age. So it's hard work. It's quite difficult. Joe's doing a brilliant job of homeschooling, and the school is sending some really good stuff through. But it is hard. I'm trying to help out as much as I can, but I've got business to do and stuff, and trying to get a bit of training in as well. But yeah, I think it's been really interesting to see that there's different groups of people. Some who would normally be at work and are kind of single or in a couple, and at home who seem to have loads of time on their hands, and they're trying to work out, what to do, watching loads of Netflix and trying to get new hobbies and stuff. And then all those parents out there who are trying to do online work from home and look after a couple of kids, which is a big enough job in itself. It's going to be wearing. Much as we absolutely love our kids and love spending time with them, the fact that they can't burn off that energy by running around with their friends, it's going to be difficult. So we're 4 days in, and it's been lovely in some ways, but tiring as well.
Yeah, time will tell how it carries on.
Yeah, no, I think there's going to be a lot of parents who are going to struggle after a number of weeks or maybe months of this.
Yeah, because it's again, it's such a unique situation. It's not like Granny can come and look after them for an
No.
hour, so you can go out. It's just like you're there 24/7, and the
Yeah.
only break you get is when you have to take them shopping with you because you can't leave
Yeah.
them alone in the house.
Well, we've chosen to sort of pretty much self-isolate for the next 2 or 3 weeks. I think this is the sort of critical time when you don't really want to be catching anything, when, NHS is going to be put under loads of strain. So Joe did have a bit of a cough a few days ago, so nothing else has developed and there's no high temperature, but we just decided we're going to have a week or 2 of just sticking to family, and that's it. So we've managed to get a couple of food deliveries, and we are seeing nobody else and just staying at home. So that puts more pressure on. Not even trips to the supermarket.
Yeah, and you were saying with Xanthi as well, like obviously this is an important time of her life in terms of social interaction.
Mhm.
It's something that you want to get her involved with as many like contacts with other kids and starting to make friends. Is there anything you're sort of trying to do to like work around that, or is it pretty
It's
difficult?
very difficult. I mean, we can sort of FaceTime grandparents and things like that. She's too small to have any sort of friends or anything really. Jacob is really missing his schoolmates, and there's very little we can do. We can't even, go down the park really, because the park is another area where you can transfer viruses just on the play apparatus and stuff. And it can live on there for quite a while, and also the physical closeness. You just can't tell a 7-year-old not to get physically close to another 7-year-old who's playing a game with. It just doesn't work. Yeah. So they've been at school together until last week. So anything they picked up at school, we couldn't do anything about. But from this point onwards, we're just going to try and be as careful as we can for the next 2 or 3 weeks, and then maybe we'll be able to relax that a little bit. But,
I don't envy you at all at the moment in your position. Yeah, I just have. Well, I've one kid I have to look after. With So it must be difficult for you, and so I don't envy you at the moment.
Yeah. It's good in some ways though. We get loads of time to spend with him, and we are do other stuff as well. Maybe go out for some bike rides at certain points. And a few other things, but we did. There's a thing called Taskmaster in the UK, so we did a Taskmaster home tasking thing today, where we set up a little rave in the bathroom. So we can do little projects like that, which are quite good fun. But it's a long time ahead, many weeks to go.
I do like the show Taskmaster; it's good fun.
Yeah.
So should try and do that myself here as well.
They look really good.
Yeah.
Hashtag home tasking, and you'll see all the different ones. So they do one every couple of days, and you're supposed to send them in.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll definitely look into that, because at the moment we've been cleaning.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
So we've set up ourselves a little routine where we've getting up in the morning, and either. Well, initially it was going out for walks, but this was before the full lockdown. It seems that everybody gets up at 5 a.m. to go for a walk now.
Right. Okay.
I doubt that will last very long, because it would be like New Year's where people do it for 2 weeks and give up. But we switched that now, because I've luckily got a roof terrace, so we can go up there and do some yoga in the morning and a bit of workout.
Okay.
And then we do our adulting, as we call it, which is cleaning. We've been trying to pace ourselves, but we seem to do too much each day. We seem to like just get a bit too eager into it, and then it's like trying to set up the routine for doing it, because luckily both me and Alice work from home ourselves anyway, so we are kind of used to it. But one thing I'll miss. So she is the manager she owns her own company. She's the manager, and it's a senior companionship service. So she normally has her and these ladies that go to these old people and basically chat with them, sit with them, take them out for coffee, shopping, whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
Obviously, at the moment, they can't go to coffee shops. They're not really going to do shopping as much because a lot of them fall into that very high risk category.
Yes, of course.
So she's obviously just doing essential sort of stuff. Like some of them, they have some medication stuff. So she just has to, her lady is just going to there, doing that, and just staying in their own home and then leaving again afterwards.
Okay.
So obviously she's had to adapt her business at the moment, and she's
Yeah.
doing like the ones that are getting lonely and that, she's doing phone calls and that with every day. So again, adapted, but mostly she works from home because she's got employees. So we spend a lot of time together anyway. So
Yeah.
we're kind of used to the so we're not having arguments in that because it's just normal for us.
Yeah, well, it's not that different from myself and Joe because, we're both normally at home. It's just that kind of, when Jakey's not at school, so that makes a big difference. And there's no sort of way we can get out and go to a little group for toddlers or anything as well. So it's not too different for us compared to some people, I suppose.
Yeah, the only thing that we're missing is that normally we go outside every single day. We make a point of going out for like a walk or a run or outside for at least 2-3 hours. So that we are missing, and luckily we have access to the roof terrace, so we can go out there and sort of be outside at least. But I did see. So when I was up there today, you could look down in the garden where I live, and I can't remember if I showed you it all when you were over, but I did see. Luckily, I don't have them anymore as carers, but they were all hanging out there together, all smoking in one area with a few of the residents, and I was like,
yeah,
that's not exactly responsible, is it?
like you were saying the other day, you've got to press buttons in your lift with your elbow and stuff like that, and
yeah, definitely.
We're quite lucky being in a house as a family that we can isolate ourselves fairly easily from the outside community. There's always that risk, isn't there? It's you've got to be a bit careful.
Yeah, there's a lot of people coming into the buildings that I live in. It's not like a regular block of flats, as you know. It's it's something that I have to be really careful of, and I have to wash my hands just to do every time I do like my washing or take the bins down. I have to make sure I'm washing my hands then. Like obviously you don't really have to do that as much in your own home. So
you've got a lot of communal areas, haven't you, that you're going to have to pass through to do anything.
Yeah, and someone put in the chat, we are allowed to go out for a stroll right now. That is correct. That is on Boris's thing. However, being in the high risk category, you got to be super careful. If someone's just run past you and they've coughed on the floor and that goes onto your wheels and it's onto your hands, that means you're getting the virus basically. And it's one of those things right now where it's like it's best to do the best you can to not get it, really.
I think particularly at this point in time, for the next 2 or 3 weeks, I think this is the time we've got to be really careful. Being as careful as I can, really, but trying to do things within reason. I've not even been out on my handbike, so I could go out and do that, and I think I'll just stay right in the house for the moment. It's hard time-wise. I'm more busy in this point than I've been before because there's so much to do with the kids as well.
Yeah.
I got to do so I'm missing my wheelchair racing training group.
I can imagine that. Yeah.
But we had a good online training session the other day where we all joined the same, was it Zoom or something, or one of these groups, and we all did the same session at the same time, and our coach kind of talked us through what we're doing, and we all could see each other pushing on our rollers at home, so that was great. So there's getting a bit of social interaction there. But I think we're going to really start missing actually physically seeing people, aren't we, in that way? Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, although it's great we have the opportunity to do Skype and FaceTime and Zoom and Instagram and that, the actual interacting with a human face to face is something we're all going to miss, definitely.
Yeah.
And we sort of briefly talked about it a little bit there, but how is it affecting you, like personal life and that, like, are you doing anything around the house differently, or is there not much you have to worry about within your home? Like, is there any other things, like, are you more about like your food shopping and
really?
Sorry, say that again.
All stuff related to the virus.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
related to the virus, how you're having to adapt because of, you still need to get food. You still
Yeah,
need to,
Luckily, we've got down on the Sainsbury's sort of delivery slots so that we can get one a week, and that's kind of guaranteed. So that's been really useful. So we've not had to. I've been able to do a couple of food shops when it was getting close to the time of sort of isolation, lockdown. But now we've got a food shop delivery booked. So that's good to get that out. That's another worry off our mind.
yeah.
But yeah, like I said, we're fairly easy to isolate here. So because we haven't got any communal areas, but I'm just being really careful. Like I could go out on my racing chair and do a push around the roads around here. I could go from the house and that wouldn't be too much of a problem. But it's just, like I said, in the next 2 or 3 weeks, I just want to be so careful that, if I was to do something, it's a little bit more dangerous on my race chair than it is on a handbike. And just the slim possibility that, you'd have a crash and then need to go to hospital or something like that. And just those sort of slightly semi-risky things that you do in the next few weeks. I'm just trying to, make sure there's no chance that I need, or as minimal chance as possible that I'd need to get into hospital or anything like that.
Yeah, definitely. We want to be avoiding hospitals right now.
Yeah, not just for your own sake, but because they've all got so much workload, and you don't want to be adding to that really.
Yeah, no, yeah, especially because you don't want to be there for anything really.
No,
anytime, but especially not now because
especially not now,
it's such a strain, and the more people that are straining it, the worse it's going to get, and it's a really difficult time. So you kind of got to wrap yourself in cotton wool for everybody's sake.
It's not going to be for that long. I think we can manage for another 2 or 3 weeks, and then might be able to not be quite so strict on ourselves after that. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. It might be a long stint ahead of us still.
Yeah. Who knows? But hopefully people, because some people still aren't following sort of the rules and that, so they're finding loopholes to everything. So, but I have seen a significant reduction since Boris has grounded us.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just going to go and put the light on in here.
Yeah, no worries. I was just going to say hello. So, hi, Sam. Hello to people.
Grab a scooter out of the way first. What's left in here?
Cool. All right. Hello, everyone in the chat. Hope you're doing all right. If you've got any questions for us, shout them out. Ali has said, I've got some rubber gloves that they've been wearing to go outside.
Good idea.
Someone's just said that they're not risking it.
Yeah.
You're not going to get it if you don't come into interaction with other people or what they've touched. So it's a pretty sensible way.
I think we're hearing as well that it's quite a lot more serious than people think it was, even just for the general public. So being very careful at this time is only sensible, really. Yeah,
and like we were saying about the strain on the NHS, I heard some stuff about in Italy where it's so strained that they are like running out of ventilators and that they need for people. So, and once they run out, there's only a certain amount of people that can have them. So there are going to be people that would normally be okay. They're going to start to struggle as well. So, you might think you're young, fit, and invincible, and you get over it all right, but you might not be at the same time if you haven't got the right stuff.
And it's not a nice situation for yourself or someone else or for a doctor who's potentially got to make a decision between, do I, if I've not got enough ventilators for everyone, do you give one to this person or do you give one to that person? And that's a horrible decision for both people involved and the doctor. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's
just in all ways, it's not worth the risk.
Yeah, there's a lot of other factors that I don't think a lot of people are realizing come into it, and But there we go. We can only do our best to ourselves and hopefully inform people any other way. But you can't change people at the end of the day.
Enough of this virus stuff.
But hopefully the more we do to prevent it now, the quicker it will be over and done with, and we'll be back to normal. Yeah. So, Rob, is there anything that you would like to talk about on today's show while you're here? Is there anything that you would like to mention or?
I don't know really.
No?
Hopefully, everyone is getting some exercise in some way or another. Like, you know, got many things that they can follow, like what you're doing. And if people can get involved, maybe not at this time, but when this blows over a bit, some sort of organised adaptive sport in some way. I think that's been some of the best stuff that I've ever got involved with for just encouraged me to stay fit, and also just being around other people who have got similar conditions, disabilities, and how much you actually end up encouraging each other. So, you know, I know you do a bit of wheelchair rugby, and I've done so in the past as well, and wheelchair racing now for me, but, you know, basketball or any other sport, physical activity, or, you know, if that's not your thing, then some other group where you can get together with people with similar situations.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned about exercise there. Apart from obviously looking at my YouTube channel and doing my workouts, what sort of recommendations would you give to people at this time? Because obviously you're somebody who's extremely fit yourself. You do your wheelchair racing, you've done loads of marathons and that.
Yeah.
What sort of things are you doing yourself, and what sort of things do you recommend for other people to do?
At this time, it's a bit dependent on what equipment you've got around with you, isn't it? So it's
course,
quite hard
yeah.
to sort of, you know, to suddenly be able to go and join something that you don't know about or you've never tried before.
Mm-hmm.
You know, someone like doing your workouts is great because you might be able to use some stuff around home. And there is a good amount of stuff you can do with bodyweight exercises or bits around the house, or, you know, if you can purchase some dumbbells or various other bits and bobs. There are things you can do. Just going for a push around the roads. You might be able to pick up a second-hand hand bike. You know, that's a great piece of equipment. Yeah, lots of options to try. But it's if you've not tried them already, it's quite a difficult time to now get into them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's a weird situation.
It is, yeah. But
Yeah.
as soon as this kind of passes, I can't recommend that enough. I remember when I first started playing wheelchair rugby, not long after my accident, I remember going and seeing kind of like C5 complete tetras who had a lot less function than me, doing stuff that I wasn't doing at the time, and that really encouraged me to get on and do it. I know we've both done a lot with Backup as well, which is a charity in the UK that kind of gets people back out into you know, doing outdoor activities and various other things. They run lots of courses, so anything like that I think is really useful to get you going and get you back into the realities of what you can do as someone with a disability after your accident, or after, you know, whatever's happened. Although
Yeah.
a lot of people have already had this from birth, haven't they? Depends what your disability.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's I got loads of people in the chat with different things, whether that's spinabifida, cerebral palsy, MS, MD, or loads of different things. So yeah, whatever it might be, there's something out there for you.
Yeah,
Try and find it.
I think it is good to get involved with those groups who have similar conditions. So, but just try and find positive ones, because sometimes you can get together with a load of people who are a little bit moany about how things are going, but actually, you know, that rub off eventually. So getting yourself in some groups with people who are really positive about what they can do rather than what they can't do.
Yeah, that's really good. Definitely.
A key thing, I think.
Yeah, I've noticed that when joining a sports group, like, although like online forums, like on Facebook, whether it be like for us, like on spinal injury groups, which is great for talking about things, there can be a lot of negativity in there as well. So making sure you surround yourself with some people that are really positive, like someone wheelchair rugby, especially team sports, because you're in it, you're doing it together. It might not be your passion, but to do it on the side as a bit of it's just something. Like, I used to do wheelchair rugby, just for social reasons, really. I never had any passion to go far with it, but the social aspect of it was what made me want to go all the time. So yeah.
No, I really miss that as part of. You know, I don't play wheelchair rugby anymore because I don't have time with the racing, and that's why I like to meet as a group to do racing training, because it's really encouraging. But there's something about the camaraderie at a wheelchair rugby event and a team that you know, I do really miss as well.
Yeah, yeah, it's a cool sport, and it's fun to do as well.
Yeah, and
It's very challenging, and
yeah, everyone's a bit kind of don't take yourself too seriously, and there's quite a lot of banter goes on, so that's always really nice as well.
yeah, and always the one who's the least disabled gets all the stick.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, what I've been doing on these shows as well, Robbie, is getting any recommendations for like Netflix, Amazon, all that sort of stuff. But um, because you've got kids in that, what do you recommend for people out there to sort of maybe keep themselves and their kids entertained during the time? You said about Taskmaster. Do you have any sort of other recommendations you would say?
Well, I said the Joe Wicks is already good this morning, so he's doing every morning at 9 o'clock through his various channels. So that's just a sort of half an hour of exercise at 9. So we started off doing that at the start of the week, and we did the first day or two, and then we decided that we'd make up our own kind of early morning workouts. So we round about 9 o'clock we go and do a workout, and I think a couple of times we've done one where you have a write down 6 challenges and you roll a dice, and then you take turns to roll the dice and do that challenge that comes up. And then we've got Jacob to start writing his own. And then this morning I took a little workout and went out on the drive, and I got Jacob and Joe sitting in my wheelchair and doing some figure of 8 laps around various places. So yeah, I think it's good to start with a bit of exercise in the day, which I would normally train later in the day. So it's nice to get up and do something to get your body working. Yeah, so the Taskmaster thing, we haven't got Netflix. I generally watch a bit of news and not much else on TV really. A few things here and there, but just busy with other stuff really. I've found a board game thing that you can play online, which is quite good. I've been playing with a couple of friends. So that's called Board Game Arena, I think. So you can just sort of log in there and meet up and play board games with your friends, which I used to like to do, but don't have much time to do now. So it's nice to do that with a group. Yeah, I've not got loads of recommendations because it's just quite exhausting having a family, to be honest.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, that's why I said what you're doing with your family, and that I thought that was probably a better way to get recommendations for you from you.
By the end of the day, we're pretty tired. But yeah, doing the projects like I said about today. So like this Taskmaster thing, it took a while to set up and a little while to kind of work out what to do. But it's a nice thing to do as a family and do something a bit strange and unusual. And yeah, I did enjoy that today actually.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's funny seeing all of the stuff online. I don't know if you've seen it all up, but there's loads of stuff coming, especially like out of Italy and Spain and those countries that are properly on lockdown. The crazy things that they're doing.
Yes,
it's
on the roof and singing at certain times and that sort of thing.
Yeah, Alice showed me one today where this guy put olive oil on the floor of his kitchen and pretended it was a treadmill.
Yeah,
just to get his. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, what people are doing in these times, but yeah, it's good to see. It's good to see people's humour for it all as well, because that's one great thing about humans is we know how to laugh at some of the worst situations. Yeah, I hope we never lose that as a human race.
Yes, no, it's always good to see the way that we can adapt and do all these different ideas, and even in the most difficult situations, people are very inventive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
And obviously due to the internet, social media and all that, we actually get to see it and sharing it together, and makes us all laugh, and it helps us get through it because, it makes us all happier, and we need happiness at this time, definitely.
Yeah, someone's saying about TikTok. I've not even gotten into TikTok yet. Isn't it all dances?
I don't.
Just all dances. So.
I logged in, uploaded a couple of videos that I've already uploaded on. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on here.
I don't know about Tim.
This is too much of a 14-year-old girl's paradise for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we'll stick to the ones we know for now.
Yeah, stick to YouTube.
Yeah, I've only just started using Instagram, so I'm too old for that still.
All right. We asked for some more questions. So if anybody's got any more questions here. I'm just going to have a look through. I normally write them as we're going through, but I haven't seen any in particular, so I'm just going to have a
Someone
quick
was asking a while ago that came up on my screen that I could see about getting Active Hands to Canada.
Yes.
So yeah, just go onto our website, put the items in your basket, and then put your address in, and it'll tell you how much it costs to send all over the world, wherever you are. So we send anywhere. So
I've mentioned that in some videos of you on before. You ship anywhere in the world. Just
yes, we ship anywhere in the world. Yeah.
Even North Korea.
We haven't sent one to North Korea. No. If there's anyone watching in North Korea, then you'd be the first. We've sent plenty to South Korea.
Well, yeah, it's great because I've travelled quite a bit and over the last sort of 2 years, especially, and it seems to be everywhere I go. There's like a spinal unit or like a physio unit. There's a set.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's we're coming up to our hour limit. So everybody that's watching, we're going to go off and then come straight back on again. Thank you for joining back with us. Going to get Rob. So yeah, all good. If you've got any more questions for us, just join in and ask us away. So there we go. You're back with us now.
Yep.
Thank you for everyone for joining back. It doesn't look like everybody's left.
Hey, we're back.
I can't quite hear you myself, Rob. If you just
Oh,
speak.
okay. Can you hear me now?
No, I can't hear you now.
Okay.
It's always the way, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're all back. But yeah, while we are getting Rob's audio back on, it might just be me. I don't know.
I don't know how I can adjust it. I can hear you.
Can you guys hear? Right, if you guys can hear Rob,
That's still going to be a bit difficult for us to talk.
I don't know if Rob can hear me. Rob, can you hear me?
I can, yeah.
You can hear me.
Yeah.
It might just be my fault then. Hold on. I'll turn my
Are you sure you haven't lost your connector out of your headphones again?
it might be my headphones. Hold on. So I can hear you now because I turned them off. I'm just going to turn them back on.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. We were practicing earlier, weren't you? And your lead fell out of your headphones, so it might be the same problem.
Yeah, it's my headphone. I think my. So.
Any better?
Yeah, all better now. Yeah. With the head, it might not be as good quality sound. But anyway, yeah. So we're just sort of wrapping up anyway now. So yeah, thank you everybody very much for joining. If you joined in on this live stream, because we've got a few more people in now, but you can watch this.
Do you want to talk before we go about a bit about travel?
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about travel. Why not?
Because both of us have travelled quite extensively as wheelchair users. Now I've got a family, it's not quite so easy, but I have previously backpacked many times around the world, and it was kind of my big thing for quite a while. So I've been to visit about 48, 50 countries, something like that, in my time as a backpacker. So anyone who's got any questions about that, I can answer if I can help.
Yeah. Yeah, you had quite a good story about how you lost your wheelchair down the cliff.
Yes, easier.
So yeah, we talked about that. I mean, we might as well talk about it again briefly here. Do you want to sort of explain your cliff?
So I'm an incomplete spinal cord injury, so I can walk some very short distances on crutches, and it takes me a long time. But I went to visit a waterfall in the north of Bali when I was travelling, and I'd gone down the very steep slope in my chair, and it was too steep to get back up, so I had to get my friend to get my crutches to try and get back up this slope to the waterfall. And on the way back up, he was trying to help me around a tight bit, and he kind of let go of my wheelchair as he was pushing it up, and it went tumbling off a cliff into the darkness, falling below, and as it was just getting dark, we had to come back the next day and try and find it, and some locals had found it at the bottom of a cliff and ransomed it back for us. I think we had to pay like 125,000 rupees or whatever it was to get my day chair back, which was only about £8 or something. But it was a bit of a strange one. They must have found it quite strange to go along and find this Westerner's wheelchair at the bottom of a cliff and nobody in it. But that was a bit of a worry.
Yeah, and as you were saying, you did backpacking, which is completely the opposite of what you would assume a wheelchair would do on a holiday. So what sort of things did you have to do to adapt, or like how was it being in a wheelchair, going to like backpackers places and all that stuff?
It was difficult at some points. There's a lot more that are accessible than you might think, particularly in more Western places. Australia is normally an accessible room in every hostel, with an accessible, shower and facilities and stuff. A lot of places where it's a bit more remote, it's more difficult. And, my ability to just be able to stand up from a chair and take a couple of steps leaning on something was really useful, if you need to get into a toilet, that kind of thing. So I'm not pretending it wasn't a bit easier for me than it would be for some. But my first travels, I went for 9 months with my best mate. And you just have to work out how that's going to work with all the things that you need to take. We took one huge rucksack between the two of us, and he carried that, and then we each had a day bag. And we had to then fit all of our stuff, all of our clothes, and everything for 9 months in this bag, and just wash things regularly. Stuff like catheters, you take as many as you can. You have to reuse quite often, which is not ideal, but that's the way it goes. And then at certain points along the travels, we had places where you could send them to someone that you knew, or a post office, or a certain place that you'd arranged in advance, and then they'd pick up another load to keep us going for a bit longer.
Yeah.
But anything you can do to cut down space, so like not taking a towel, drying yourself with a sarong, and just having minimal amount of clothes and other things. It's workable, but you just about it quite a bit. But that's quite a challenge, which I really enjoyed as well.
Yeah, we although we didn't do backpacking, that we realised when you're in places like Bali, for example, you don't need to worry too much about like having so many clothes, because getting somebody to wash it there for you is so cheap.
Yes, yeah. And it helps a lot going to places that are warm, because then you don't have to, you can take t-shirts and shorts instead of like thick jumpers and thick socks and trousers and stuff.
Yeah.
So that does help. It was a bit of a shocker when we went from Hawaii so we've been to like Fiji and Rarotonga and Hawaii, and then we flew into Vancouver at the end of February, and there was snow on the ground, and like all the clothes on that we had, and it was still freezing. Let's go out and buy a warm coat.
Completely opposite direction, yeah.
Yeah.
Was there any times on those sort of journeys you were sort of scared, or not necessarily scared, but like worried, and because obviously it's quite the deep end to throw yourself into. So
yeah, to be honest, I felt a lot more. I felt pretty safe in most of the places we went to. We went to some fairly out of the way places in Cambodia, Laos. I've been to Bangladesh to do some volunteer work and backpacked a bit. It was places, we nearly got mugged in San Francisco. That's quite a close one. And there's a few places actually, in a bit more well-known places that it wasn't quite what we'd want. But people are generally nice the world over, and people see you in a chair, and I think people understand. Most people in the world, anyway, understand that you've got some limitations and are nice. And if you give people the benefit of the doubt, they're much more likely to help you than to, try and do anything bad.
Yeah, we were sitting with Jessie the other night. She was saying, like, people want to help, take advantage of it.
Yeah.
But you've got a unique situation. It's just like, use that.
And as long as you're happy to say, no to help, people will try and help. And sometimes you do need a bit of help. As long as you can sort of explain in the best way possible how you need your help, then you should be able to stay safe. You don't want people trying to push you forward down a flight of steps in a chair. But if you can explain to someone, even just with hand signals, like turn me around, hold this bar at the back, even if you can't speak the same language, I think you can make yourself be understood if you need someone to get you down a flight of steps backwards in a wheelchair.
Yeah, definitely.
It's definitely possible.
Yeah, definitely. Although I was fairly confident with my wheelchair and my ability to ask people, obviously when I was in Bali, you have to. Quite a lot of places, you're going down the road and then suddenly there's a big crater, and then to get down off the curb, it's like way too big a drop to be able to do by myself. So you have to sort of do it, and that's what's great about traveling. It puts you in a situation that is so foreign for you and your wheelchair and your accessibility needs that it teaches you how to be able to access things and do things you didn't think possible, and to give you the confidence to ask people for help.
Yeah,
because you have to.
Yeah, definitely. And I've travelled with many friends, but I've also travelled on my own as well, since kind of knowing that I could do it. So I've travelled to Japan and Bangladesh and Dubai, and lots of different places just on my own. And often, when I'd go out to do races, for example, go to Switzerland, I'd drive all the way in a camper van and stuff. And I quite like the adventure of not knowing what's going to happen. You might break down in a van, or you might get stuck somewhere. And there's something about that adventure, the unknown of, how am I going to get out of this situation if something occurs, that quite appeals to me. I quite like, something happening that I've managed to overcome. It feels like a challenge which I've then tested myself and hopefully overcome. But,
it's a unique thing to be able to do, like put yourself in those situations and then learn your way out of it.
yeah, definitely. No, Brazil as well, I've travelled on my own, Thailand, so yeah, it's nice to be able to do that as well, and to know that you've got the ability to get out of a situation, and to ask people for help if you need it. Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, I was meant to be travelling this year for 3 months.
Yeah.
From mid-June to mid-September, ending up watching the Paralympics in Japan. Well, none of that's going to happen now.
yeah. Paralympics is off. Yeah, we were planning to be there as well. There's a spinal injury conference that happens in the same city as the Paralympics every 4 years, and we were going to go and exhibit at that. With active hands, and then go and do some leafleting and go and seeing some of the Paralympics. So that'll be off as well.
All postponed next year. Because we're doing the same thing we did in Bali last year. We were going to do it again this year, the volunteering.
With Regain.
With Regain. And then starting there, then there was some in Singapore. And then continuing on, we were going to go to China, Taiwan, Vietnam, loads of the countries around there, and then end up in Japan. But unfortunately,
but
it's all right. We got an extra year of saving up, so we'll have an extra star on each hotel. Some better food.
Right.
It does cause disruption.
Maybe we'll join you for the Indonesia bit.
Yeah, why not?
We got our honeymoon was in Bali, as well as we have travelled around Indonesia quite extensively. So I would love to get back there and take the kids. We managed to do one trip with Jacob as he was getting a bit older. He was about 3 or 4, and we took him to Dubai, Thailand, and Myanmar. Which you can imagine is fairly difficult with one able-bodied person, one guy in a wheelchair, and a 3-year-old going to Myanmar. But it's definitely doable, and we absolutely loved it. We'd love to be able to take them all to Indonesia or somewhere. Maybe something to do with Regain as well. So
it's an amazing country. And we were going to explore some of the other islands in Indonesia as well on our trip. And it's something that it's paradise on earth, essentially.
It is lovely. Go and see the Komodo dragons. We enjoyed doing that.
Because you were recommended to go to the Gili Islands, and that's insane. That place.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Just It's like the islands you drew as a kid on a map, but come to life and even better.
Yeah, and you get to swim with turtles and stuff as well. It's
There's
a lovely place.
Yeah, on Gilead, the one we went to, which if you are going, you went to Trawagan as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
So that one, if you can't get out your wheelchair, Trawagan's pretty much impossible to get onto, I was told.
It would
Especially because they had some earthquakes just before we went as well.
Okay.
And that destroyed some of the piers. So they were only having this thin walkway that you could go down.
Yeah.
But Gilead was all right to go on, and there's no cars, no motorbikes.
Yeah.
The only bikes there are electric powered or man powered.
And there's horse-drawn carts on Gili Trawangan, and we went round the island in a horse-drawn cart, and it's about 3 miles around the island or something.
Yeah, that's the only form of transport is a horse-drawn cart.
Yeah, and there's no dogs as well, which is quite a blessing. The amount of times I got chased around alleyways in Bali by various wild dogs. Yeah, the dogs are everywhere. Yeah. It'll be one day we'll be able to get back to this travelling. Hopefully that this whole virus thing will pass at some point, and we can get back to doing that kind of thing again. Yeah,
well, I guess one good thing about this all is there's less flights in the world, so the greenhouse gases are on hold for a bit.
We'll have a bit of a break until we can get back out and start doing it again.
Just start destroying the planet again.
Yeah.
I'll say it one more time. If you guys have got any more questions for us, somebody just said. So James has said, thanks a lot. It's an interesting perspective. Was exactly what he needed. So, well, we are absolutely privileged to be able to share our stories with you. For those who don't know, me and Rob are actually just friends outside of the whole internet space. We've met up quite a few times at different events and that, so we've got to know each other outside. And I definitely recommend, if there's a possibility to go to anything for a charity with spinal cord injury, with sports events, whatever it might be, go to it, do it, because you make friends for life from it. And it opens up so many more doors and so many opportunities, not just for meeting people, but also learning from them. And from that, we all grow together, and the community get better, and we all get better individually as well. So it was awesome.
I'm just seeing something from Daniel. Can you shine some light on what it would be like to travel for the first time with your girlfriend, wife? What aspect of that are you interested in, Daniel? The sort of how we manage physically, or the relationship of it, or carrying equipment, or what are you interested in particularly? So I've travelled with Joe quite a number of times now. We did a 5-month round the world trip. From my point of view, I know you've travelled with Alice a lot as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
And it's a lot of time to be together with the same person, and in some stressful times it is quite a straining relationship. But I think it's again another good test of how that works. And it's a good tester for if you're going to work long term as well, I think.
Yeah, especially with if you do have any care needs or any sort of needs, if that's something that you're going to need help from them from, it's a good tester in terms of can you both deal with that side of it? Is that something you're okay with? Something that I definitely recommend is what we try to do a lot is that I can't do everything. So what I try to do is do as much as I can and do literally everything I can, and then Alice does everything else. And it works out about 50-50 then. Because she's doing getting on and off the plane. I'm getting help and also get other people's help as much as possible if you need it. If don't rely too much. If there's a set of stairs, if there's a bloke there or a strong woman, I should say, a strong person. If there's a strong person, and you need help down the stairs, just ask for help. If your partner's going to struggle with it, just ask. And over time you sort of learn what you can, what you can't do. Me and Alice went away every single month last year. We went away somewhere, whether it's in this country or abroad. And each time we dealt with different situations. But as we've gone on, we've learned skills along the way, and we know what to avoid, what to do. But we know that there are going to be some times where we want to do something and it's not possible, like due to the disability. So what we do is just think less planning in terms of we do this and get disappointed. We go and we see what we can do and just enjoy the time. So it's sort of learning to be flexible as well. So
so I think someone was asking about accommodation regarding travelling and bladder and bowel stuff. So accommodation wise, it depends where you're going, obviously. So if you're going to be staying in hotels and you're booking in advance, you can always ask questions about door widths, accessibility of your toilets and stuff like that, which way, you know, if they can take the door off the bathroom if you're going in there. If you're going to be sort of hostels, and a lot of the time when you're in Southeast Asia, you're in a kind of like a little flat or I don't know, just a sort of self-contained chalet or something, or then they're often basic, so you can look round, and some of them are fairly flat access, all the rest of it, and you might take a little while longer to find somewhere that's accessible, and you might have to do things that you wouldn't normally do at home, you know, regarding toilet needs and stuff like that.
yeah, we found when we were in Bali, is the first time we really experienced this, but there's a lot of places that will say they're accessible online, and then you get there and they're not.
Yeah.
Like they say, yeah, we're on the ground floor. Like, yeah, but you've got 5 steps to get to the ground floor.
Yeah.
And it's just something, because in some of those countries, they don't have disabled people come at all, or if they do come, it's like once in a blue moon.
Yeah.
So what we learned to do was find somewhere, talk to the hotels beforehand directly, say, can you give me pictures from the street up to the hotel? Is a good idea if you really want to plan it out. And then you can see what's possible. The great thing about traveling with Alice was that we didn't think of that when we were in Bali last time, but it's what we start to do now. But we were going around, and because taxis are ridiculously cheap there, we got in a taxi, drove around to each one. Alice would hop out. She has an idea of what I need, looks around quickly, hops back in if it's no good, and then just goes to the next one.
Yeah.
And there's going to be one that's going to be okay.
That's a great way to do it. And often a lot of people are a bit worried that you have to book everything before you go. Now, if you're going to a hotel, that often is something you have to do, but also it's quite easy to book as you get there and as you go along. So you can just turn up in most places, particularly sort of third world countries, and you can just have a look around and like Ben was saying, send someone out to have a little look and see how accessible it is. But there's a website called hostelworld.com, which is not just for hostels, it's for sort of cheap hotels and stuff like that as well. And you can book, and you can see photos like you would for a normal hotel or hostel website, and you pay a 10% deposit, and that kind of guarantees the room, but you don't pay the rest till you get there. So you could go book your room to make sure you've got something that you can rely on when you get there. And if you get there and it's just terrible and you're not going to be able to use it, then you only lose 10% of the room price. So we quite often use Hostelworld around the world, and that's a great way to travel. If you want to be, I know it's quite daunting for some people to have not booked accommodation before you even fly out, but as you get used to doing a bit more travelling, you realise that is quite a possibility.
Yeah, and he also asked about using a shower chair abroad. So I don't know about you, Rob, but I found it very helpful to learn how to do it all without a shower chair, and obviously, like, you adapt as well with your situation. I would say there are options out there I've seen some that are travel shower chairs. And then the great thing about that is that you can learn at home and then take it abroad.
Yeah.
If you're going to a country that, like America, England, Australia, or all over Europe and that, then I found that if you did ask the hotel, if you were going to ask the hotel, this is from other people's experiences, they can source a shower chair, or they've got one they can use, and they can take pictures and you can see what it's like. If you go into less developed countries, something that I would recommend is to try and find a charity in that country that deals with people that have disabilities similar to yours, because they have the knowledge of where to find it in the country, who to contact. They can get in contact with the hotel as well, and they can help you out in that situation. So finding contacts where you're going. I don't know if you're going to be doing trips like we did, like we go around the world and going to lots of different countries along the way. Obviously, you'd have to do a lot of planning. But if it's just one trip, you're just staying in one hotel, that's just one time you have to organise it.
Yeah.
So getting in contact with people in the country, because people in the country know their country better than we do. So they're really good people to get in contact with.
It's certainly not out of the question to do something like have a cheap plastic chair that you just stick in the shower. If you've got like a wet room type shower, or in a lot of Asia, it's literally just a pipe that comes out of the wall, and it just sprays water on you at the temperature that is outside. So you can get hold of a little plastic chair with a back on it, stick that under there, and that's your kind of easy shower chair. You'd have to pull your wheelchair up to it and back from it, but there's always ways that you can use what's local to you to sort of bodge a job to be able to do it if it's necessary. Someone else was asking about bladder and bowels and stuff, so I'm fairly independent with that sort of stuff. I can do it. I don't need any sort of stimulation really to do bowels and stuff, so I can use my own stomach muscles a bit and maybe a bit of stimulation, but catheters and stuff I will take with me, and it's just the bulk of doing those that's difficult.
So again, somebody from India, he's a long-term follower of mine, and he's a user of Active Hands as well. So
how you doing?
hailing from India, so that's the country I've not been to. I can't imagine how hard it is to be a wheelchair user in India.
Yeah, that's really tough.
Yeah.
I haven't been to India either. It's on my list. I've been to Bangladesh, just nearby. And India is one of those ones that I do definitely want to go and visit soon.
Yeah, it seems a cool country, and very unique as well in terms of its culture and that. Yeah. So also, I just wanted to read out something that Ali said. She said, my brother and his fiance, which are both able-bodied, cycled from Amsterdam to Istanbul a year ago. He proposed the day they left. Just as well, she said yes.
Yeah, that's a long way to go to get a no. Yeah, I think traveling with your partner does help you a lot. You realise in stressful situations how well you cope, and that's always a good tester for how well you're going to work long term.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. We've been talking. Well, that's actually like 40 minutes we chatted there for a bit.
Yeah. Let's call that a day.
Cool. Again, thank you so much for joining me today, Rob. Where should people find what you do if they want to do that?
Activehands.com for business stuff and all our products. I'm also on Twitter for Rob Smith Wheelchair Racer. I'm Active Hands, and they're on Facebook and everything else. So any of those?
Awesome. So Active Hands anywhere, or Rob Wheelchair Racer.
Yeah, Rob Smith Wheelchair Racer.
Rob Smith Wheelchair Racer. I will put those in the links down below in the description if you're watching later on YouTube. But thank you for joining me, and thank you all for watching too. I think it's been an absolutely fantastic show. Great responses there in the chat as well. Hopefully you've learned some things. Hopefully you've just been here to have a good time and escape the boredom or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
But I'm back here at 6 o'clock GMT every single day. So join in.
Tomorrow.
Sorry?
Who's on tomorrow?
Who? I do know who's on tomorrow. But, actually I do know. Yeah. So I'll just consult my list just to make sure I get it right. Yeah. So tomorrow I've got a guy called Ben Mudge. Now he is a pretty awesome guy. it's the first time I'm actually speaking to him in sort of person, I guess. But he is somebody who's got cystic fibrosis. So obviously at this time, he's got to be super careful.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
But normally what he does is he works out a lot because he's got an incredible body on him. And he dresses up like Thor and goes around to hospitals with kids and gets them dressed up as superheroes and that, and just hangs out with them for the day. So because he looks a bit like Chris Hemsworth, basically.
Okay, fair enough.
So he's going to be an awesome guest on. He's got a huge been the quarantine zone. Thanks again, Rob.
Okay, I'm back now. Okay, good to see you. Good to speak.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Catch up again soon.
Yeah, definitely. Bye.